George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. This brother right here, we celebrating him. Pastor Phil Turner, senior pastor of the Bethany Baptist Church, 149 Beatty Street in Syracuse, where I have been a proud member for many years. But that's not why we're here today. Juneteenth Day, June 19th, something very special is happening on the Hill on 149 Beatty Street. Pastor Turner, glad to have you on the program to tell us about the second fireworks extravaganza at the Bethany parking lot on Juneteenth Day, beginning at what, 5 o'clock?
Beginning at 5 o'clock, and we're looking at going up until about 10. You know, we still want to be respectful of the fact that the children have school the next day, but the Juneteenth celebration is really just a fireworks exposition with all of the amenities being provided for family activity. Not only are we having a professional fireworks presentation, but we're throwing in with that games for the children, the bouncy houses, and the water, the water slide, and we're having face painting, and we're actually having a magician this year.
Okay.
A magician along with our DJ. Free food for everyone because it's intended for the family, and it's intended to celebrate America's other Emancipation Day. America just happens to have more than one Independence Day. We have the Independence Day of 1776, and we have the Independence Day of 1865.
There you go.
Where African Americans not aware of the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, when President Abraham Lincoln declared slavery as illegal, but they had not been informed in Texas, and people remained enslaved and providing free labor for another 2 years.
And 2.5 years.
2.5 years, correct me, George. Thank you so much. But because of that, our history is that there is more than one Independence Day.
There you go.
And since Independence Days traditionally have been celebrated with fireworks, commemorating the wonderful feeling and the wonderful legalization of emancipated people, because everyone was not emancipated in July 4th, 1776. And so there were other Americans not yet accepted as Americans or not considered Americans, but however had contributed to making America the wealthiest nation in the world and establishing capitalism as the front runner of economic systems in the world. And that was all funded by slave labor and the businesses that evolved because of the slave trade.
And universities and all sorts of institutions.
Particularly the Ivy League schools, institutions of education, all funded by slave labor and slave trade. And so, we have this wonderful opportunity to celebrate another very significant and important Independence Day. That is the day when emancipation of Black people. Of course, we were freed in terms of citizenship, but we're not freed in terms of being a part of the American economic system.
Well, pause on that citizenship. That was another. They had to pass another law to get us that, right?
Yeah, to get full citizenship, and to evolve, evolve from being 3/5 of a human being.
Right, Pastor. And you just listening to you, right?
Yes.
Don't you get mad a little bit? I mean, I'm mad because I think about
George,
all that we have had to. All the stuff that we continue to have to do to affirm our place, to prove, right? Built this darn country.
Well, I think in turn, and you're so right, George. I spent so much, particularly in my early adulthood, just a sense of contempt,
Mm.
and at the same time with our contempt, you have to accept the helplessness of that contempt, because there's
Mm-hmm.
not very much you can do with it
Right.
except to begin to stand against anything that is unjust.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that in this country, the judicial system has not been an ally. So when you do stand against injustice, it does not mean that you're going to get justice. So having to deal with that, and I think the level of helplessness is part of what we've had to overcome as American citizens. But I also want to say this, that the poster child of forgiveness to the world ought to be the American, the Black American.
Right.
Okay, should be the poster child. If we were to act on that contempt, this would be a bloody and contentious environment. But we should stand as an example to the entire world, even as you look at what's going on in the so-called Middle East now. This
Mm.
inability for sides to forgive
Mm.
is why you have these centuries old conflicts. But if they were just to look at what Black people have done in America, and how we have had to swallow the raping of our mothers, the castigating of our personhood, our manhood, the denial of economic freedom, the canaling, so to speak, of how we have been uh, uh, corralled into geographic areas all over the country with barriers around it.
Mm.
And everywhere you go in America, there is a Black community where Black men and women have been hunted, where we are 13% of the population, yet we are 60 to 80% of incarcerated people. With all of that, with all of
With
that being
all
said,
of that.
when you consider throwing the lynchings, okay, throw throw in the unjust incarceration, throw in the planned attack of crack into our communities. Now we're dealing with the influx where they can't get any kind of, there's all kinds of need for resources, but the only thing we seem to be able to get in our community is guns, where our young people, you can't get nothing else in here, but you can get guns in here, where people who are impoverished and hopeless, you give them guns. And what's happening? You see the genocide of Black people taking place. And they're the only time that you really have to be concerned about there being a nationwide hunt is if somebody Black kills somebody white.
Mm.
So otherwise, we have numerous missing peoples. We have numerous missing Black females. There is no law for trying to find them. They go missing all the time, and so with all of that, we're still saying, America, we love you.
And Pastor, it reminds me of many conversations we have in terms of what we do and what we have been fighting for in the circumstance that you just described, and how today it seems that we have forgotten what we were fighting for, which is the right to educate our kids, right?
Yeah.
Which is the right to live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But I'm going to stay on that education of our kids, right? Because one of the things that we forget, that it was illegal in this country to teach Black people how to read.
Yes,
And
sir.
now we act as if it is not important anymore. We got to stop that, because think about it, right? All of the great orators and writers of the day had to be they had to be taught by candlelight, by secretly. You had to pretend not to know stuff
Yes.
so that you could learn and be educated. And now And now we're making the choice. We're making, some of us are allowing ourselves to be lulled into ignorance by not performing, by not reading, by not applying. Some of us are allowing that to happen in our community. That ain't nobody's fault. That ain't nobody else's fault. That's stuff that we can handle. And I got to say this, somebody going to get mad at me right now, but to go into a school and attack a teacher because your kid ain't doing what they supposed to do in that classroom, y'all, now come on now. Come
Yeah.
on now.
And
Come
so,
on now.
so what we're looking at is something that Dr. King talked about when he said a rioter is the voice of the unheard.
Mm.
And so now you have a parent who has an issue and contempt with a teacher because of their own experience of having had a bad educational experience, and feels that that education system is an enemy instead of an ally. So that's a person who had been marginalized in the educational system, whose experience had been negative, and they felt that they were coming to fight back now. Okay. And so, I realized that it was wrong, but apparently that was a person who has had a bad experience with education, and has had a poor relationship with educators, who feels that the problem is the educator and not their child, or feels that the system is the problem. And so I think that that's the problem that we have with education, George, is that it has not been ours. Now, I'm a person who was born during Jim Crow days of segregation. My first 3 years of school was in a segregated school. Totally different standard. Okay. We were not able to use foul language. We had to use correct pronunciation. You could get a spanking. You could your behavior was expected to be exemplary, and your work, you were expected, you had an expectation of performing at your highest possible level. Okay, you were believed in. Okay, so I know that because all of my teachers were Black. The Black principal spanked me with the belt, and I accepted it because she wasn't beating me to hurt me. She was teaching me to be prompt and on time. And I considered it something that I needed to fix, to not disappoint her, because I knew that what she was doing was for my good.
And
But
I would
the
let me
point that I'm making is when I came, contrary to what people believe, I didn't come from a rural community where there was one school where you had to walk 6 miles to get to it. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
huh?
And we had even though we were third hand, our books and resources were third hand, that the white schools were they were done with, they had gotten new ones, but still the quality of my education was, I came here above grade level. I came to Buffalo, New York above grade level, reading well, and functioning well academically. But what I'm saying is the biggest problem is that the education system for our children isn't run by us. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I believe that a good teacher is a good teacher, no matter what complexion they come in. I believe that a good teacher is a good teacher. But I think that the miseducation of our children is because they're being taught by people who don't think that the children they're teaching are as smart as their own.
And I know Kunjufu talks about this, but I first have to address, hopefully, Pastor, there's other ways that we can get our children's attention without hitting them with a belt. I have to make that statement because of the work I do. Okay. So we have to
Well,
do that.
and I agree with you there because they were doing what they had been
What
taught.
they have been taught, right? I mean,
They had been taught. And
yeah,
quite honestly, a parent spanking a child was more out of fear
that
that
they
if they
would
were
lose
not,
them.
yeah, because they knew what the consequences would be
Right.
if law enforcement
Yeah.
were to get their hands on you. If
Understood.
you were ever to get in the penal system, in fact, there was no assurance that if law enforcement ever had a confrontation with you, it was believed that you could end up dead
And
with no consequences and no reciprocation against what had happened to you.
and you said something and we kind of glossed over it, but I think we should amplify it because I was going to say that Kunjufu talks about what you said about teachers not. What did you say? Say that again, because I'm
I
gonna.
was saying that
Some
the
teachers,
expectation
right?
that the child can learn. All right. In other words, that if I am convinced that you're ineducable
Right.
or that you cannot perform at the same level as my children, then I lower my expectations for you. Okay. And then I assume that the reason that I'm not educating you well is because it's your fault versus me not being able to connect with you as a teacher.
And you said something about seeing them as my own children. Did I hear
Yeah,
that right? Right. Okay.
exactly.
And so
Exactly,
Kunju,
because if you're a European American, your tradition was that the plight of black people were because they were not as bright as all of the other people, and that for some reason they had not been able to lift themselves up by their bootstrap because they just weren't academically, educationally, and intellectually equal. And
and
so that misinterpretation or that wrong perception of people of color has caused people in America to assume that because of the color of my skin, I am somehow less intelligent than other people.
and so Kunjufu, Jawanza Kunjufu, who writes about
I got
uh
all his books,
you
man.
know right.
I got all of Jawanji Kunjufu's books, man.
Right. And he talks about this notion of how do I see that child that's before me? And if you are able to see that child as your own and love that child as your own, your way of teaching might be different if you see Johnny as relatable in the same way that you see someone else. And I
But
think
we
that
we we see the reality of that
right,
in the images of two current presidents, where one president, the African American president, was
Harvard
criticized,
educated,
Harvard educated, Columbia, Harvard educated,
Ivy
Harvard
League,
Law School, Columbia undergrad, but was criticized for wearing a light colored suit. Whereas you have a president who has been recorded and broadcast castigating women, falsifying a college, over reporting his income and cheating on taxes, also paying off people to not tell the truth about his experience with them. All right. And also having been charged for uh, 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 being a slumlord. I mean, all of these things, and you have
and
him now
found liable for sexual assault as well.
for sexual assault, and here he is running for president. So now you see the double standard for one president versus another.
Right,
And
right.
so it epitomizes what we just talked about, that there is still to this day a double standard for And then one of the things that Dr. Jawanto Kunjufu points out is the assault, particularly on Black males, the miseducation of Black boys.
Right.
Okay, that there is a particular target, and that was also the ideology in breaking a slave in the Willie Lynch concept, was to show the father as completely powerless.
Mm.
The mother would have no other. She would be afraid of what happened to the father that was destroyed right in front of them, where they would take two horses, put tie each arm to a horse going in different directions, slap the horses on the back, and have the mother and children watch the father be ripped in half. And Willie Lynch promised that his concept would have an effect for centuries, because now the mother would teach the child to be docile and submissive, because she never wanted the child to have to undergo the same thing. But once the father is destroyed, the rest of the mother feels helpless. She has no cover. Okay, what is the whole idea of what's the movie that Woodrow Wilson showed in the White House?
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. The idea of Birth of a Nation is that Black men had to be destroyed to protect white women
By the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes. So the point is that without the male, the mother is almost hopeless, because now she has no protection. She has no covering. The person that God put on earth to protect her has been destroyed in front of her face. And so now we're still looking at the castigation of Black males, because we still are the ones that are filling up the penal institutions. And God knows, you know enough white people to know that we are not we are not the only ones doing crime.
We're not talking with Pastor Phil Turner, and all of this is coming off of the fact that on June 19th, I told Pastor,
remember Juneteenth?
Juneteenth. I told Pastor Turner, I said, we don't know where this is going to go, but we know it's going to be Juneteenth at the Bethany Baptist Church on 149 Bethany Street on June 19th at 5 o'clock.
June 19th.
Where they'll have free food. Now, I'll be a little tardy again this year, coming in after the ancestral program, which is what a lot of people did last year, will come right after the ancestral program to get up to Bethany to do the fireworks. So that's what I'll be doing for a little bit of that.
Well, I'm glad that you expressed that, because it does not interfere. We have a wonderful Juneteenth celebration planned by the Juneteenth committee. And it's like any other Independence Day that culminates with fireworks.
That's right. So we can still we're going to have the fireworks. Get there.
Yeah. And also you can testify to the experience.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Fireworks going off
with the music.
And it'll
be, my God, that
what an experience.
Wow. I'm just recalling it and thinking about it. And I think you and I said this after the fact, that it was Juneteenth with our music and our experience with the culmination. It was amazing. And
here's the thing, George. It was our Independence Day.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when you think about how America feels about the 4th of July,
it
is the same kind of feeling for me.
Remember
to know that this special moment was a brand new day for enslaved people.
Yeah.
It's
a great tribute. June 19th, Bethany Baptist Church, 149 Beatty Street, Syracuse, 5 p.m. until it get dark. Okay. When it starts to get dark,
hamburgers, hot dogs, snow cones, cotton candy, all of that for the children, food for adults, everybody. We ain't charging nobody nothing.
And listen,
bless our community.
Bring a chair, right?
Bring a chair. That's right. Now we're also better prepared than we were last year. We'll have the the things up to ward off the mosquitoes, and we'll
Oh
also
yeah.
have the spray. So all we're gonna do is make mosquitoes mad
That's right.
because they're gonna be, they're gonna be sniffing all of that good, all that good.
Everybody all
Yeah.
over Central New York is invited to
Yes.
149 Beatty Street.
Yes. Come. We have something to celebrate.
Yeah, we do.
If you're an American, then you ought to respect independence, no matter who it's for, because that's the whole idea of America.
And like I was telling you, for the first time in 189 years, there will be a Juneteenth celebration in the town of DeWitt earlier that day. So
Yeah.
you will have Juneteenth all day on June 19th. You can go to the DeWitt celebration, which then you can go to the ancestral program, and then you can round off your night at Bethany. Now Bethany kicks off at 5 p.m. and so
Yeah.
get up there at 5 and come early and enjoy all the goodies and games and
Yes.
all of that good stuff. But at nighttime,
and this is what you have to remember: the fireworks work best at dusk.
yeah,
So if you don't get there until 8, you're still good.
that's right.
8:30, you're still good.
You good?
And you're talking about a first class fireworks presentation.
Oh yeah. This ain't schoolyard
like
fire. This ain't no firecrackers and M80s and any of that.
No, this ain't like a couple of people went down to Pennsylvania, and bought some fireworks. This is the real deal.
With the whole show lit, we're gonna light up the east side. I should say the east side. What am I doing? I'm not putting no fireworks on. The east side is gonna be lit up.
Oh my goodness, George!
All of Syracuse.
We had people from far and abroad talking about the experience that they had as they were going down Erie Boulevard or 690, and that they could see those fireworks, man, and they were just, calling to ask where was it and what was the purpose. Because, most people are not thinking about Juneteenth as an Independence Day, but the reality is that America has more than one Independence Day.
Let's go. Pastor Phil Turner. But I do want you to make a plea, though. I'm going back to the education that begins at home.
Yes.
And so we understand that some of us have had some systemic issues with the educational system. But we can support, we have support for you. We have support for parents. Get behind this Syracuse Reads Plus initiative that's going on. People are being trained right now. You know what? So we can sit here all day, Pastor, and talk about what ain't right, but let's also affirm that as parents, we are the first educators of our children. As a community, we are the first educators of our children. And so if they don't have something, if they don't have some information, then it's up to us to make sure that they have it in all of our institutions, in all of our community resources. How do we must make sure that with, the 100 Black men are doing a charter school, they're coming up with we have always taken care of our community, and we can't stop now. And if we look at the deficits, can't stop now. And when we look at the deficits, that's because we took our eye off the ball. I have to say it for real. And let me also say this. If you're an elected official and you're in a position, you can't be looking at nobody else to fix it, because you in that position. You ran because you said you had a solution for it. So do it. Okay.
Do it.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm just getting excited. People say, well, you don't have a say in it. Yeah, look, we're calling, we got to hold a community accountable. You don't get a pass.
There it is, George. You just said what I was about to say, that we're got to start holding people accountable, for politicians who only want to come around during election time, and sadly, they don't offer or present anything to the Black community, and we let them come into our meetings and things and speak, and we ask for nothing. Well, we ask for nothing in return. So we need accountability. We need all hands on deck.
Well, let me say this, Pastor. I got to get somebody mad again. Those same politicians are us too. Okay? Yes. Let's be clear. We
Yeah.
the same. We elected to things now.
That's right. That's right. This is true.
We in power now.
That's
So what
right.
does that look like, and how does it show up, and what is the manifestation of that power, and how is it making a difference? You got to
Yeah.
ask that question.
You
Pastor,
have
you
to
got
ask
me
that.
going. I don't know what this
I
is.
know. I know. Now, listen, I'm telling you, you stirred up today, man.
I don't
Listen.
know, Pastor.
Listen, man.
I just want to thank you for,
Yes, sir.
you know what, listen, I'm an official senior citizen. My birthday coming up.
All
And I
right.
guess I said enough is
Join the
enough.
club. Join
Listen,
the club.
listen.
You know.
In fact, in our church, the three of us, and you couldn't have three more different people. Me, Grace Kelly, Neal, Ed Spear, all on the same day.
Yeah. All y'all birthday was the 21st?
The 10th of June.
The 10th of June. That's right. Oh
We're
my
all
God.
on the same day. Three of us.
3 of you. Oh my goodness. 3 of them in one place, man.
In one place. Listen, that's a lot of Gemini personalities at one place.
Well, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm completely comfortable. My oldest sister is Gemini.
Okay.
She's been like my second mama my whole life.
Uh,
So I'm all ready for the Gemini people.
okay, let's
And
go.
and they do make things happen. They do hold people accountable. Okay. And they don't forget, if anything ain't right, they ain't about to forget. They ain't about to forget about it. Okay. I can tell you that.
For real, for real. But
You better come corrected with them Geminis. That's all I can tell you.
Lord, we let you go for a minute, but then
No, but I mean, if you let them go, they gone.
right,
Never to return.
no,
They're like, I wrote you off.
right.
You are done.
And it's a process. But if you get there, it's done.
You out. It's over.
There's a lot of leeway,
But if you work your way over to the other side, you
there
can't
ain't no
come
coming back.
back.
Oh no. Oh no.
All the Geminis out there saying, amen.
Amen. We all right, we're gonna let you slide a little bit, but yeah.
I love it, man. I love it.
So
I do believe that, everybody is sent from God, and
mhm.
that there is a need for every personality and that God made. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all we got to do is learn how to respect and love
And love.
creation.
Which is, and all of what we're saying here tonight, and I'm gonna say this. I'll say it. I don't know if you're gonna say it, but I'm gonna say this. That's because we love our people.
Yes.
We love our people, and we want the best for our people. And this ain't. We love everybody, and we love our people too. And ain't no shame in that game, for real, for real.
There's no shame in that game, and I think that the first part of being able to love and respect others is first loving and respecting yourself.
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you now, George. I'm letting it out the box. Don't tell. Well, I better not say it because somebody else will copy it. So what a song that I'm planning to remake, and I'll leave it. I'll talk to you about it later. If I can't let it out the bag because somebody else will beat me to it.
I'm gonna wait till we get off camera so I can get the scoop.
Okay. All right.
But listen, doctor, that's a prophecy right there. Listen,
well, listen, I am registering for my doctorate to start this fall.
Amen.
So
All right.
you just prophesied that.
All
brother.
right. Okay. All right.
Right.
Amen.
So then you're gonna have the real Dr. Phil.
Amen. Dr. Phil in the house. Well, we're gonna pray for you, brother, because
sir.
we know the rigor
I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, that's an undertaking.
That's mammoth. Yeah.
Yeah. Bethany Baptist Church, 149 Beatty Street, Juneteenth Day. That's June 19th, Juneteenth Day. That is Wednesday, June 19th, 5 p.m. until
That's right. Until and 149 Beatty Street.
Yeah, 149 Beatty Street,
Syracuse,
right?
New York.
Right, and that's
we will have we have plenty of space, and then what we'll be doing is using the parking space that be provided by the bottle return place, which used to be the bowling alley, and then we'll shuttle people right around the corner up to the church. So it's bring the whole family.
Bring
It's a
the whole
family affair.
family.
Bring the whole family.
Bring,
We were shocked at the number of children who had never seen an actual authentic fireworks presentation, and they were in awe.
Let's go.
And the community was just eating it up.
All I ask, Pastor, is that I need a little VIP chair for me and the missus.
I got you.
Because we coming after the other thing, and
that's right. You kind of sit down. I'm aware. Listen, I got respect for senior citizens, brother.
Listen, hear me, hear me.
Because I is one.
Listen.
But I'm young at heart.
Young at heart. All right, Pastor Phil Turner, Bethany Baptist Church, services Sunday at 11. Check them out, and we appreciate you, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody Wednesday, June 19th, 149 Beatty Street, Bethany Baptist Church. And it's the east side of Syracuse, and we look forward to seeing everybody there.
We appreciate you, George Kilpatrick, new inspiration for the nation. You are a bad brother, man. You have stood the test of time. You are a one-man army. I love you. I respect you. You my brother, for real. So, all right.
Receive, my brother. I love you back.
Kind, man. Ain't nobody doing it like GK.
Amen. Let's go. One more time. June 19th day, 149 Beatty Street, the Bethany Baptist Fireworks Extravaganza. Be there. Inspiration for the Nation.